if you smother it in bacon all over, it'll be really, really moist. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you've had a fantastic Christmas day so far, and I hope Santa brought you everything you wanted. I got a pair of pink boots signed by Phil Jones, but I think I'm going to have to send them back. I went to close the oven door with my foot and ended up kicking the table, so they're definitely faulty. But lots to discuss. We've got some topical stuff as well, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did release a press conference last night in relation to the Huddersfield game, so we've got some topical stuff. I'll also be giving you my Christmas wish, my Christmas thoughts on this Christmas day. We don't normally get to do shows like this. I'm going to tell you the players I'd get rid of, and the players I would keep, and the players I would bring in if I was Manchester United manager realistically over the next few months. Please do get in the comments and give us your thoughts as well. Want to be interactive with you, and remember, drop a like on video. But I tell you what, let's start off with I just want to start off with, we're going to sort of twist this up a bit. I want to talk about Solskjaer's comments because there's some really sort of controversial ones. But I just want to say as well, in relation to Paul Pogba, gets a lot of stick, lot of stick. And this is something I saw yesterday, and I really wanted to just bring it in and just plant the seed in the fan base to try and make everybody just be a little bit more open-minded. Obviously, we get, Pogba was this, Pogba was that, Pogba was the Mourinho problem, and it's always Pogba. But I read a quote from Matic after the game against Cardiff, and he said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's only been here 2 days. He wanted us to go out and express ourselves. He wanted us to pass forward, move forward, and we did that and score more goals, and we're all really happy. Nemanja Matic is one of Jose's boys. He's one of the Jose club with Lukaku, Fellaini, Matic, as I said, and probably people like Ashley Young. There was 4 or 5 that were definitely in that club. And whilst, you see pictures of McTominay, you see pictures of Fellaini, and he looks like, he's got a face like a cat licking a piss-stained nettle. And then you've got Matic, who actually put in probably the best performance he's put in with 8 months. And I think that's the thing that I want to sort of touch on there. Matic is, basically a backer of Mourinho. There was rumours last week that him and Lukaku were the only 2 senior players who didn't want Mourinho to go. But now Solskjaer's here and he's jumping on that bandwagon. So why are people always going in on Paul Pogba? Because you could easily, and I'm not saying go in on Matic. I think it's great what Matic did at the weekend, but Matic gets away with it. Matic was one of Jose's boys, and now I'm going to jump on the next bandwagon. I think all footballers are probably like that, so I just think it's very unfair how certain players get it. But anyway, let's go to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comment. I've said Solskjaer again. I don't know. I have a problem with the K. It's not there. It's about as useful as they are in February. It's useless. Don't do it. And I keep making that mistake. But what I was going to say. Yeah, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Some really key things there. I just love the vitality. I like that word as well. Fit as a butcher's dog. I love the vitality. Don't you just love Christmas? Anyway, stop going off on a tangent, Mark. I love the vitality and the freshness and the happiness that Ole is bringing to Manchester United. It's going to be very interesting when we have a bad result, how he reacts to it, because at the moment it is that honeymoon period. But he was asked about, previous Manchester United managers have had, I went a bit Manchester United, didn't I? Have had ex-Manchester United players having a go at them in the press. And he was asked about that. And he said, look, I know most of those players anyway, but to be honest with you, talking about Gary Neville, is paid for his opinion. It's his opinion. I don't have a problem with people having an opinion, and I think that, I agree with him on that. I think that Van Gaal and Mourinho had problems with people like Paul Scholes, and they expressed it. I think the minute you do that, you expose a weakness, you expose a vulnerability, and maybe that's, Scholes found a chink in their armour, sort of inadvertently, really, because as a manager, you should accept criticism. We all, it's how you deal with criticism, isn't it? And I think that if you are criticised, deal with it in a way that's not going to expose a weakness to you. And I think that's what Ollie's doing there. And he's saying, look, yeah, these players, I played with them, but they have got an opinion, and some of them are paid for an opinion. So you're going to knock them when they have an opinion. People have different opinions to it. So I really, really liked that. He also spoke about the attacking philosophy is in the rule book of Manchester United, and that is what we must do. We must attack. Absolutely love that. He spoke about, he was asked about the handbrake being released, and he said, well, I've heard about this, but that's not relevant. That's not what we're doing. We score 1 goal, we want 2 goals. If we score 2, you want 3 goals. And he really doesn't want to get dragged into what the press are just digging for him to have something about Mourinho. And what I love about Solskjaer's approach to this Manchester United tenure is another good word, is that positivity reigns. Positivity reigns, because what did I say on the preview for the Cardiff game? I said the way Ollie will want us to play is tenacious, relentless, and high intensity. And do we have the fitness to do that when we under Mourinho? We're one of the least runners. We cover the least distance, more or less. We're in the bottom 3 or 4 both seasons. So it'd be very much in Ollie's rights to say, I've only been here a couple of days. The fitness levels aren't where they need to be, which is what every new manager always says. And it's a bit of a dig at the previous thing, but he hasn't done that, even though common sense people like me and you know that the fitness levels of this team aren't going to be anywhere near where he needs to play the brand of football he wants to play. And we saw that in the last 20 minutes against Cardiff. We became very lethargic because we weren't used to that sort of intensity and that amount of distance covered. And that will come over the next few weeks. But he's not even used that as an excuse. He's just cracking on with his job. He's getting on with it. And he's really not looking to look past it. Mourinho or Van Gaal or anybody. It's about this. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to crack on. I think that's really positive as well. He also said, I really liked this comment, Martial, Lingard, Rashford, who would want them running at them? So, hopefully that's in his mind, and we're going to stick with those 3. And he also said on the teammates thing, look, my ex-teammates can say what they like, but Sir Alex Ferguson's the only one I'm really going to listen to, which is good as well. He said, the teammates have messaged him. He was asked about Rooney, and they said, they've given good advice, but Sir Alex Ferguson's the one, and that's always good, because there is no better manager in sport than Sir Alex Ferguson. I always feel like that's a wrestling quote. There's no better manager in sport than Sir Alex Ferguson ever, and I agree with that. So real positives and a bit of topical stuff for you there, but let's get in to the nitty gritty of what we're here for today on this Merry Christmas show, because I'm excited about this, because I never get a chance to do this sort of thing, because it's either a transfer window or there's matches, and we get so lost in the topical stuff. I want to there used to be a programme on UK TV called Noel's Christmas Presents in relation to I missed the trick there. Can we stop it? Can we stop it and can we stop this and just redo it as Goldbridge as Mark's Christmas presents? A bit like Noel's Christmas presents. Although he used to go around hospitals visiting sick kids, and actually we're not going to be able to do that at short notice. Maybe next year. I think it's a great idea. But it's Mark's Christmas presents, or Goldbridge's Christmas presents, or whatever you want to call it. And basically what it is, it's my Christmas wish of what I would do if I was at Manchester United and I've just chucked in Football Manager, and actually it's real life. I have got Football Manager, actually. I'm going to do a few Football Manager streams over the next few weeks on my channel, which is That's Football. So that's where all my FIFA stuff is. A little bit of a plug. But I am going to be doing a Football Manager. But let's just pretend we've put Football Manager in this morning and it's suddenly real life. You are Manchester United manager. What would you do? Who would you get rid of? Why? And who would you bring in? Because this is going to be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm really excited about it. And I've not took any notes. Because I just want to do it off the cuff. And I want you lot to do it off the cuff and get in the comments as well. So, first of all, I may have a pair of his pink boots signed that I was walking around as slippers earlier on. But I would get rid of Phil Jones. Phil Jones is nailed on easy for me. He's not my number 1 choice, but he is in the 3 that I would get rid of. I'd get rid of Phil Jones because, as I said before, I'm not even going to be nasty. He does have his faults. He does cost us goals. But the reality is, his injury record over the last 4 years is abysmal. And it's not going to get any better. And he's not going to get any younger. And he could be Van Dijk, Ramos, and Bonucci all rolled into one. And I would still sell him. Because a centre-back who can only play for half of the season is not a centre-back that you need at Manchester United. And that is the problem with Phil Jones. Without getting on to the chapter about calamity, mistakes, or, facial expressions, it's the first chapter that means Phil Jones moves out of the club, because it's all about his injury record. The last 4 years, he hasn't played over 50% of the games in a season. You can't build anything around that. He's a stopgap. And I don't think we need stopgaps anymore, so I would move him on, sorry. Who I wouldn't move on, though, and this sort of comes into both sides, I wouldn't be moving Matic on. You know why? Because I'm always a great believer in giving people a second chance, and in relation to Matic, I saw something on Saturday against Cardiff that made me think, in the short term, we're all right with him. He isn't the CDM that I want. He's not mobile enough, and he's never going to do that. Doesn't matter what you buy him for Christmas. You can buy him Heelys, you can give him spinach, you can put a rocket up his arse. He isn't going to get any quicker. And I think in the modern game, when you look at your Fernandinhos, you look at your Kantés, you need that speed. Even like Nainggolan, people like that, they've got a speed across the ground. Even Herrera, although I don't think Herrera is the answer to our CDM problems. And Matic will never get that, but he is a better player under Ollie. He is a better player being told to not take so many touches and pass forward. I think we've probably seen one of Matic's best performances. But the reason I wouldn't get rid of Matic at the moment, and I'd reconsider it in the summer, is because I don't actually see a CDM that we can bring in at the moment. Pereira and Fred, maybe they can, over the next few weeks, start to challenge him. I like Ndembele from the French league, but he is a risk and he's young, and you don't bring him in January. So I'm talking about January here. And no, I would keep Matic till the summer. So he's safe for now, and I was impressed. I was impressed with him on Saturday. I've given him a lot of stick, but I'm not one of those people. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, that the ethos of the channel is, we don't like flip-flops who change their opinion every minute, but changing your opinion in a way that's structured, I like it, and I think Matic did well on Saturday. Let's see how he does over the coming weeks. And I think anybody who said before Saturday kick him out of the club was right, because he'd been abysmal and he'd been one of Jose's fun boys. But, let's see how he goes. So CDM, I don't see we're going to do that, even though I think long term it's a massively important position for us, because we haven't really got anybody coming through for that position either. Darmian, I would move on. Now it's interesting because we had Rants on Sunday and he was saying I quite like Darmian, and I did like Darmian when he first came to the club, but for me, he should have been in Italy 2 years ago. I can't believe he's still at the club. He's too slow. He's not really got an attacking game. I remember going to that Palace game, and he basically had the license to be right winger and didn't really know what to do. So Darmian, I can see surviving till the summer, but realistically, I'd let him go back to Italy. I think he even wants to go to Italy. So Darmian and Jones for certain. And then my third player, although there are other candidates, you could go left field and say Lukaku, but I don't think we'll be doing that in January. For me, it would be Fellaini, and it's not going to happen. It isn't going to happen because he's only just signed the new contract less than a year ago. It's only like 6 months ago. Thanks, Jose, for that. But the gift that keeps on giving. But I would move Fellaini on because I don't like the Fellaini option. And I know Ollie brought him on in the last few minutes of the Cardiff game and played him as a CDM. But he's not a CDM. He's never been a CDM. His best position was when he played for Everton off the striker. Now, Fellaini thinks he's a CDM. But you know what? I sometimes think when I nearly said I think I'm a porn star in the bedroom. That's going to get me in a lot of trouble. But hope you're not watching. But just get back to your cooking. And that's not a sexism quote, by the way. She makes a fantastic turkey. I'm going to do the stuffing. Oh, it's getting worse. No, I do that seriously. I do a good stuffing. It's hazelnut, apricot. There was a video last year about it. So I'm digging a hole. But where was I? Look, Fellaini thinks he's a CDM. He's not. He's not a midfielder. He's not. His best position is around the edge of the box, hitting long balls and using his Pamela Anderson chest to magnetise the ball and bring it down. And are we going to play like that at United? Are we going to play that brand of football? Are we going to hit it long? I don't think Ollie, even in the last 10 minutes of game wins, we're chasing it. I don't think he'll hit it long. I think he'll do what Sir Alex Ferguson does. Get your fullbacks down the width and just commit men in the box. I don't think we'll be hitting long balls ever again at United. So that destroys a massive part of why Fellaini's relevant. And I spoke about this before as well. When you look at in one game, what happens when De Gea's taken a goal kick, centre-backs split to the right and left-back position, Matic drops into the centre-back position, full-backs bomb forward like they're wingers, and this is from the goal kick, and then he's looking to pass it out. Obviously, when Fellaini was in the team, it's a long ball up to the halfway line to Fellaini to nod it on. Well, we ain't going to be doing that anymore. He's not quick. He's not good on the ball. He can't dribble. His shooting's poor. He's not even actually that good of a header of the ball. I just don't see what he offers United other than we signed him on a new contract. We've got to use him. And I think ruthlessness, aggression in the transfer market. We're Manchester United. We've just got rid of a manager and been brave. I think we need to get rid of some of these players like Fellaini and wish them all the best because his effort levels have been fantastic. But what do you offer us? What do you offer us in the football we're trying to play? You're not that player. Are you going to press quick? No, you can't. Are you going to play one-touch passing forward? You can't. I don't. Are you fast? No, you're not. It doesn't tick any of the boxes we need from midfield forward. So for me, they're the three that I would move on, and I'd do it as soon as January if it was my Christmas wish. Who would I bring in? Well, that's where it gets interesting, because I think the centre-back scenario is very interesting. I think United are definitely looking for a centre-back. Do we need a centre-back? Well, if I'm getting rid of Phil Jones, we do. So I'm happy to have that discussion. Do I think we need a centre-back? I'm not really going to change my stance from where I was a few weeks ago under Mourinho. I still think Lindelof and Bailly, given time in the right team, can be our centre-backs. Beyond that, you've got Chris Smalling as a backup, potentially Rojo as a backup, and we've got Twansibi coming back. So I'm not necessarily saying, yes, we need a centre-back, but I am on board with the fact that if we sign a world-class centre-back, have we got a world-class centre-back at the moment? No, we haven't. We've got two who potentially could be. So if we're going to go out and sign a world-class centre-back, you are improving what you've got. So for me, as I've said, Koulibaly would be brilliant in the Premier League, but are we going to spend 90 million? If we are, write the check, Ed. 90 million will get us Koulibaly from Napoli. Napoli can flirt and give us the foreplay and everything they want, and they can pretend it's not going to happen, but we know what we've got in our pocket, and we are going to get the job done. So, 90 million they'll open the doors. Anybody else? Well, Toby Alderweireld for me is not an option. I've been watching him regularly over the last sort of 8 months, and he is a player that is declining through to age, and he's not adjusting to the fact that he's losing his pace. I think he can do, and I think he can still be a very good centre-back, but I do feel that some United fans just say the name Alderweireld and assume he's the player he was 2 years ago, and he's not that player anymore. He's getting very fast. He's fast approaching 30. He's fast losing his speed, and he's not going to be this great centre-back you thought effectively who he was. Now, if you're still happy with that, that's fine. But it's short term, and it's a declining centre-back. So for me, it's a no. I don't care what the price is, because, again, what are we going to get out of him? We may as well stick with Lindelof and Bailly and develop them. So Alderweireld would be a no to me. But if we do it, I do like the player. I think he's a good player, but I just have my concerns about it. And Manolas is very interesting. For me, if we're not going to get Koulibaly and we're not going to get Skriniar, I'd be looking at Manolas. He's a little bit younger. I think he's about 27. He's very, very good in the air. He's got experience of playing Champions League football with Roma. He's Greek, so he's not like an Italian defender who sometimes do struggle in this league. There's not that sort of mind block. So yeah, I do quite like Manolas as well. Beyond that, it's interesting when I see things like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to sign King from Bournemouth, because I think that shows me that maybe we are looking for a goal scorer when we've already got a goal scorer, which is Lukaku. I mean, the creme de la creme, the dream ticket is someone like Icardi. And strikers are hard to come by because you want somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net. But to me, I quite like the links with a wide player. And so basically what I'm saying is Darmian, Jones and Fellaini go, if I could have my Christmas wish in January. If I could have my Christmas wish who comes in, I would like to get an Ndombele, by the way, but I wouldn't be bringing him into play straight away. I'd just like to bring him into the squad and integrate him into the squad. Definitely a centre-back, so Koulibaly or Manolas for me at this point. A realistic one and a marquee one, either or. And then I wouldn't go for a striker, I'd go for a right midfielder. And I know people are going to shout Chong, but there's a right midfielder out there who would be absolutely brilliant for us, who I've spoken about probably 2-3 years ago, who's now moved from Mexico and has been playing for PSV, and his name is Hirving Lozano. I think he'd be brilliant. And I think he ticks the boxes because Mexico is a huge, huge country with a huge population, and he is the star of that team. And there's a lot of Manchester United support in Mexico, so it ticks the brand model. But more importantly, he is a proper player. And I don't think we'll get him. I think he's going to end up at Barcelona or Real Madrid. I think that's going to be his next stop. But it would absolutely destroy me if he ended up at Manchester City or he ended up Liverpool, because I think he's exactly what we need. He's a wide player by definition. That's where he wants to play. And we haven't really got a player like that. I mean, Martial's best off the left, but does he really want to be there? Sanchez always wants to drift in. Lingard wants to drift in. Mata wants to drift in. That was the beauty of signing Perisic, a player that can actually just stick to the wide. So for me, I would love Hirving Lozano. Now, people can talk Pulisic, Leon Bailey, Douglas Costa, you know, there are options out there, but the one that grabs me the most is probably Hirving Lozano. And being at PSV, I think you can always do a good deal with a Dutch club, and you know, you don't normally pay ridiculous prices to Dutch clubs because they're happy to take the money because they don't have a lot of money. So I think, you know, you could pick up Lozano at the moment for 30-40 million, and I think that would be a steal because I think he's going to be worth double that in the next 18 months. So for me, I think Lozano would be absolutely perfect for Manchester United. Yes, that's what I think. So please do drop a like on the video, get in the comments and let us know what you think about what you would like as your Christmas wish in January. I mean, obviously, realistically, we're not going to sell 3 players and we're not going to buy 3 players, but it's my Christmas wish. You can't take it away from me because it's Christmas and that's my Christmas wish. So what is yours? Get in the comments below and tell us who you would go with. Also, link in the video description for Football Index. If you've not played it so far, you've got to be over 18. Please do gamble responsibly. But the way it works is that you get... you basically buy shares in footballers, and what should be on the screen now is my portfolio, which will show you how. Actually, we're probably not going to get it on the link on the video description. Oh yes, we are going to get it on there. So there we go. So yeah, you buy shares in players. So if you put a £10 bet on and you win, great. But if you lose, your tenner's gone. But if you buy a couple of shares in a player with your tenner, that will go up or down. And as you can see, I'm doing healthily, very, very healthily at the moment with my portfolio. Mainly Manchester United players. Mason Greenwood is an absolute star. But if you are going to play Football Index, link is in the video description. Give it a go. I think you're going to really enjoy it. You probably need to go in with a minimum of about 20 quid. So if you've got a little bit of money set aside that you don't know what to do with, you fancy investing in football players on the on the Football Index, get on United players because they've been down low prices. They've been dropping for quite a while. They're now starting to go up. And look at Mason Greenwood. His price is going up week on week, and he's not even played for the first team yet. It's just because of what he's doing in the reserves. But as you can see, you've got Martial, Rashford, Pogba, and they're only going to keep going up on the weeks because there's positivity around United. So link in the video description for that. Give it a go. I know a few of you have, and there are forums and everything you can discuss. If you like FIFA Ultimate Team, it's sort of a real way of doing that where you can make yourself a little bit of money. Link in the video description for that. Please do drop a like on the video. We'll see you tomorrow for watch-alongs, fan cams, and Huddersfield at home. Another smashing result for United. Merry Christmas. Speak to you all soon.